Should Bears fans be hitting the panic button because their second-round rookies still haven't put pen to paper? Let's talk about it. Because there's a bit of noise surrounding Luther Burden, AZ Trapillo, and Shamar Turner, and yeah, as of now, none of them have signed their rookie contracts. Now, before we start spinning into chaos, this isn't some unique disaster happening at Hollis Hall. This is actually a league-wide trend that's affecting several second-rounders. And it all comes down to one word: guarantees. So let's set the table. Today's July 2nd, which means we're now inside that 3-week window before rookies report to training camp. For the Bears, that's happening on Saturday, July 19th. That's the deadline everyone's circling when it comes to getting these contracts finalized, so technically, there's still time. But the longer these negotiations drag out, the more anxious people get, and understandably so. When you're talking about a team like the Bears that has high hopes and a ton of young talent to develop, you want your guys in camp, ready to go, no distractions. Now let's dig into the why of this whole thing. According to recent reports, and this is something echoed across NFL circles, the issue isn't about salary cap space or the Bears being stingy. It's all about whether or not second-round deals should be fully guaranteed. That's become the battleground. First-round contracts are fully guaranteed by default. It's been that way for years, and for players picked in the third round and beyond, there's usually a sliding scale. Some get 1 or 2 years guaranteed, maybe 3 if they're lucky, but beyond that, teams hold most of the leverage. But second-round picks, that's the gray area. In the past, you'd see something like a 2+ to model 2 years guaranteed. The last of being up in the air. That model's fading fast. Now, agents are pushing hard to get all 4 years locked in with guaranteed money. Some teams have caved and agreed to those terms. Others are holding the line. And right now, the Bears are in the thick of that debate with 3 players who were all selected in round 2. Just to give you some perspective, heading into this past weekend, only 2 of the 32 second-round picks from the entire NFL had signed their contracts. That's wild. So again, this isn't the Bears' problem. It's a bigger negotiation issue across the league. Carson Schweisinger from Cleveland and Jaden Higgins from Houston are the only 2 who have inked their deals, and guess what? Both of those contracts came with full guarantees. So now you can understand why other agents are looking at that and going, okay, if those guys got fully guaranteed deals, my guy should too. Luther Burden was picked at number 39 overall. That's right on the edge of the first round, and considering his talent level, it's fair to assume his camp is going to push for a fully guaranteed contract. AZ Trapillo and Shamar Turner were selected later in the round, which might lead to a little more flexibility, maybe a 3 years guaranteed plus 1 optional year situation. But regardless, this is a real negotiation. It's not just about putting a number on a piece of paper and shaking hands. There's strategy, there's precedent, and there's definitely pressure from the NFL Players Association to set a new standard for second-round picks. Now, let's zoom in a bit and talk specifically about these 3 guys. Starting with Luther Burden III, this dude's got serious potential. If we're talking raw talent and playmaking ability, he could have easily gone in the top 15 of this draft. But, as always, there were some whispers. Some scouts raised questions about his maturity, about whether he truly loves football. Typical pre-draft smoke, right? But it was enough for him to slide into the second round. Still, the tape doesn't lie. This guy is electric with the ball in his hands. He's physical, he's elusive, and he's a nightmare for defenses in space. His skill set overlaps a lot with DJ Moore, and that's where things get interesting. Best case scenario, Luther Burden has such a strong rookie season that the Bears start thinking, hey, maybe we don't need DJ Moore eating up all that cap space. I'm not saying they'd cut Moore outright, but if Burden looks like the real deal, someone who can play both outside and in the slot, contribute in the return game, and bring that same yards after catch explosiveness, the front office might start weighing their options. Remember, this is a team that's trying to be smart with its salary cap, especially with a rookie quarterback under center. Worst case for Burden, he flashes, but never really gets into a rhythm. Maybe the playbook is tough to grasp. Maybe he misses some assignments. Maybe he just needs more time to develop. Remember, he missed all of the team's OTA letters in minicamp, so he's already playing catch-up heading into training camp. In that scenario, he still contributes, but it's more of a you see the potential, but we're not quite there yet type of year. Maybe he puts up 300 to 500 yards, has a couple big plays, but doesn't become a consistent weapon just yet. Still, even in that outcome, There's optimism for year 2. The worst case isn't that he's a bust, it's just that he needs time. Then you've got AZ Trapillo. This one's a little easier to predict because of the nature of his position. Offensive linemen usually take a bit of time to transition, but there are exceptions. The best case here is pretty clear. He wins the starting left tackle job and holds it down. He doesn't have to be an all-pro out of the gate, but if he's competent, if he's protecting Caleb Williams and not making mental mistakes, that's a win. Especially with how important the blind side is for a young quarterback. The worst case scenario, Trapillo can't beat out Braxton Jones, and to make matters worse, he also falls behind Kieran Amagaji on the depth chart. That would be a real concern. Not that he'd be off the roster or anything, but if he ends up as just a swing backup or even just the second-string right tackle, where he played in college, that's not what you want. From a second-round pick, that would tell you he's either not ready physically or the mental side of the NFL game is taking longer to click than expected. And finally, let's talk about Shamar Turner. This guy is fascinating because his role is still kind of in flux in college. He played on the edge before moving inside. Last year, Texas A&M slid him into that 3-technique defensive tackle spot, and that's where the Bears plan to keep him, at least for now. He's got the frame around 195 pounds and the tools to be disruptive inside. He's strong, quick, and plays with a motor. But like with most rookie defensive linemen, there's going to be a learning curve. Best case, he turns into a real problem for opposing offenses by the end of the season. Maybe he even overtakes a veteran like Grady Jarrett and becomes the Bears' most dynamic interior pass rusher. That's the ceiling. If that happens, then Ryan Poles looks like a genius. Worst case, he's kind of stuck between roles. Maybe he doesn't quite fit at 3-tech. Maybe he doesn't have a natural spot on the depth chart. You could see him rotating in here and there, but not having a defined impact role. That's not necessarily a disaster again. Defensive tackles often need a year or two to really figure it out, but it would definitely slow down the hype. The most likely scenario is somewhere in the middle. He flashes potential, shows he belongs, but still needs another offseason to really reach that next level. So all of this brings us back to the original question. Should Bears fans be worried that these contracts aren't signed yet? My answer? Not really, not yet. This isn't a holdout. It's not a red flag on character or commitment. It's just about money and precedent. These guys are likely going to sign before the deadline. But until they do, it's going to be something to monitor, especially with training camp right around the corner. And when it comes to projecting their rookie years, the range of outcomes is wide. You've got high upside guys who could become major contributors, but also players who might need a little more seasoning. Either way, these second-rounders are going to be a huge storyline for the Bears this summer. Now, let's take this a step further and talk about how each of these rookies might fit into the Bears' broader plans, not just for this season, but for the future. Because, let's be honest, the way these second-rounders develop could be the difference between a solid rebuild and a legitimate playoff contender. Starting with Luther Burden again, there's a reason fans are buzzing. This guy isn't just talented, he's got that it factor. The kind of electricity that jumps off the screen when you watch his college film. When he gets the ball, defenders freeze. He's slippery, he's aggressive, and he has a knack for creating after the catch. But it's not just about skills, it's about how quickly he can translate those skills to the pro level. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy, drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Rumors are swirling around Hollis Hall, and the whispers are getting louder. Could Aaron Jones be the spark that finally ignites the Bears' backfield into elite territory? Sources close to the organization suggest that Chicago has closed a deal with the former Green Bay Packers star. And while no official confirmation has come from the front office, the buzz is palpable. If true, the move would signal a major shift in the Bears' offensive strategy, known for his explosiveness, vision, and versatility. Jones brings a proven track record and a reputation as one of the NFL's most dynamic running backs. His ability to turn a simple handoff into a 40-yard gain could be exactly what the Bears need to balance an offense still searching for consistency. There's talk among league insiders that this move didn't just come out of nowhere, with Chicago's coaching staff emphasizing a more balanced, ground-heavy attack this season. Jones might have been in their sights for months. His departure from Green Bay raised eyebrows, and it now seems that Chicago wasted no time in scooping up their longtime rival. Fans are already dreaming of the possibilities. Could this be the resurgence of a dominant run game in the Windy City? Pairing Jones with the Bears' developing offensive line and their emerging quarterback could unlock a level of unpredictability that the team has sorely lacked in recent seasons. Some even suggest this acquisition could shift the NFC North landscape altogether, but it's still early and nothing has been officially confirmed. Until then, the city waits, watches, and wonders, has Chicago finally found its offensive game changer? One thing's for sure, if the rumors hold weight, the Bears may have just made the most electrifying move of the offseason. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.